Hey guys, we style and prop for food photography. We need to do it for our product photography as well. And that's what this video is all about. Product photography, styling and propping to get better quality images. So if that's what you're into and you want to really up your game, let's get into it. Now I'm going to do this in two ways. One, you're working with a client and how the styling and branding works that way. The other way is you're trying to create a portfolio piece, or you're trying to create an image that'll grab that company's attention because you want to work with them. Now, in both cases, you need to look at the branding. That's kind of our standard kind of point we need to look at with both. Now, if you're working with a company and they want you to do the product shoot, they're going to provide you with a lot of information, and if not, you need to make sure you get it. You want their storyboard, mood board, you need all that, their mission, their message, all that wonderful stuff. If you're doing it on your own, you still need to abide by that, especially if you want to grab that company's attention, because what is their mission? What is their statement? What is their action statement? Are they innovative, inspiration, care about the people? You need to know that to make sure you include that within the image. Now, if you're working with a company, they're going to make sure that you're following that. Now, it's going to be fairly rigid when you're working with a company, but they will listen to you and they will take your opinions. Doesn't mean they're going to do it, but at least you can express your opinions and you might be able to be a little more innovative on the shoot that way. If the company's really big on caring about the people and animals and everything else, and they are all natural products, but the image you've done is showing fake and artificialness to it, you're not going to get their attention. Well, you might, but in a bad way. So make sure that you're all on point with their branding, and we're going to get a bit more into that, their mission and everything else. That's the two ways that it gets done. Now, another thing, when you're working with a company, they're going to tell you who this product's for, who's the target audience. Now, if you're doing this on your own, you need to figure out who the target is. What is the gender that this is targeted to? What is the age range? Is it a child, middle-aged? Is it for a senior? You need to know what that target audience is. The other thing is with the product. Is it kind of a lower end everyday product, or is it a high quality item? You need to know all this information when you're trying to put the shoot together, especially if you're doing it all on your own. You need all this information to be able to plan it out. So you're creating your own storyboard where the company will provide you that information. So you already know all that information and you just need to adhere to it. Now with our styling, we need to look at our color and color theory. With your color, also that lighting. Do you want a light and airy? Do you want big bold colors? Do you want contrasting colors? Do you want complementing colors like red and green? Are you going to go with more of a monochromatic look to it? Now there's a wide variety of color schemes that you can go with. I mean, check this out here. This is kind of like a little template to how the coloring works and how colors work together. So that is a good starting point. If you're not familiar with that little picture there, that will help you out greatly when you're trying to figure out your coloring. Remember, all your coloring has to match the product branding that the company has. Again, I can't say it enough. If you're working with a company, all this information is going to be provided for you. You simply need to follow that checklist. But if you're on your own and you want to grab that company's attention, then this is really important that all these points match. So that company goes, whoa, this guy created an awesome ad. We need to hire them. Now, when we're choosing our props, again, the company has laid most of this stuff out for us, but we can have a variety of props that we can use to enhance it. If you're doing it on your own, then the world is your oyster. You have so much props available to you to create that epic image. Now your prop should complement the mood, the message that you're trying to create within the image. Check out this one here where I did the cologne on wood. I've got some cinnamon there. I've got the wood, the warmth to it all, the candle, and it helps with the smell, the scent that the cologne is giving, and it helps portray the company message. Props help with composition and the feel of the image. What do you think of when you think of rocks, like stones, metal, all that type, versus feathers, cotton, snow? Both give two totally different feels to the image. We use props to add scale and depth to our images and to create more interest. You can use fabric, blocks, plants, stone, metal. It's endless what you can use for props. And like I say, you want to try and create a foreground, midground, background to add that depth to your image to bring more impact to it. Don't overprop. I can't stress that one enough. You don't want to bury your product in props because then you don't know what actually the product is. You're only propping and styling to enhance the product, not take away from them. And I see that quite often. So be careful that you don't over prop or try and over stylize your image. Now we're going to be looking at like your background, your styling, your background. Again, if you're working with a client, your textures, your colors, and everything's basically all laid out for you. So you're basically choosing backgrounds that match that. Again, if you're doing your own portfolio piece, you've got a world of background that you can choose from to help complement the product. Again, if you're trying to grab that company attention, it's kind of like you're working for the company and you kind of need to be bound. So you got to think kind of how they are going to do. But the background material from fabrics, papers, store-bought, make your own. I'm going to put a link down below to a video I did on creating your own backgrounds to do some product photography. Works the same for food photography, but check it out and you can make your own background. But again, as there was for props, endless list, there is for background and background material. Get creative, but remember, the focus is that product and you want the customer to buy it. So you need to enhance the image to help entice them to do that. Now we're going to look at lighting and you're going to say, well, what's lighting got to do with styling and propping? It is a style. It helps set the mood and the feel to the image. Do you want that soft light look? That hard look? Do you want a low-key type image? Do you want that high-key type image? Now, one thing, if you're working for a client and you're using continuous light, studio light, constant light, whatever type light you're using, make sure you know how to use it and control that light. There's nothing worse than being with a client for the very first time and you're struggling with your lighting because you don't know it well enough. Now that we've figured out, our colors, our textures, our moods, our feelings, our branding, the background, the lighting, we need to look at the angles. Do we need a top-down shot? Do we need a 45 shot? Do we need a straight-on shot? What angles do we need? Do we need more than one angle? Now, again, if you're working with a company, they're going to say, okay, we need to do a lay flat. Boom, that's it. You're not going to be doing a 45 because they don't want a 45. Again, working for yourself, for your own portfolio piece, you might want a few different angles, or if you're trying to grab their attention again, you might want a few different angles. So you've got a wide variety, the same as food photography. As I say, I mentioned food photography because there's a lot of similarity between the two. One is food, one is a product, but a lot of it is the same to get the same result, and that is to bring attention to the main subject. Now, another prop that people don't really think about is people. I know it sounds kind of funny to say it that way, but when you're doing product photography, people become the prop because you might have someone holding something. You might have someone walking with something. They're interacting with that item to show you how that product works or can be used and how happy the people are in using that product. It helps connect the viewer to it. So instead of just having that product isolated on white, you've actually got someone using the product and it gets a better connection with the image to someone who's viewing it when they see someone like themselves using that image. Now, one of the final points here, I can't stress enough of this, is when you're doing this, create your shot list. Not just separate angles, but you might want to change your lighting styles up. So you might want to do a light, airy type look, and you might want to do that dark, moodier look. Create your shot list ahead of time, so when the time comes to do your shoot, you're simply doing a step-by-step follow the guideline, and you'll be on the right track, and you will create that epic image. So styling and propping will now be a lot easier for you, especially if you're just beginning out in the world of product photography. Hopefully this video has helped you on the right track. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos like this. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. So until the next time.